Welcome to the Morning Mindset Podcast with me, Craig Skelton. Each day we kick off your morning with positivity, actionable insights, the motivation you need to conquer the day. Whether you're looking to develop a positive mindset, a habit of persistence, or simply starting your day on the right foot, this podcast is your daily dose of inspirational and practical advice. Today's episode is we're trying to give you that midweek spark that some of us needs from time to time. What I'm talking about is self-development and why reading books or listening to podcasts isn't enough on its own. It's a fantastic step to take personal development seriously, but what truly matters is putting that knowledge into practice. And why action is the missing ingredient, the benefits of self-development will cover, and also the consequence of not implementing what you learn, and also how to harness the power of a mindset focused on taking action. So let's start with why we seek development in the first place. We read books, we listen to podcasts, we watch videos because we want to grow, we want to evolve, we want to learn, we want to improve ourselves. It's about striving to be better in our personal lives, our business, our relationships, and even in the way we see the world. This hunger for growth is a beautiful thing, it's a really good thing, and it's a positive thing. And if you're here today, I know that you're already on that path. Self-development is transformative. Think about it. Every time you open a book or listen to a podcast, you expose yourself to new ideas, perspectives and tools. It's a form of mental conditioning that helps you see beyond your current situation and opens the doors to endless possibilities. When you develop yourself, you sharpen your skills, gain fresh insights, which is good, and prepare yourself for future opportunities. It's a way of cultivating a growth orientated mindset, absolutely. It's also a mindset that tells you, yes, I can change, yes, I can improve. When we take learning seriously, we grow more adaptable, resilient, confident. It strengthens our mindset, builds our discipline, and brings us closer to our potential. But here's where it can go sideways when we simply consume without taking action. Knowledge alone isn't enough. Just reading a book or listening to a podcast might make you feel like you're making progress, but in reality, knowledge without action is like having a tool that you're never ever going to use. You imagine you're learning about time management and productivity. You might understand how to plan your days effectively, but if you're still spending hours on tasks without prioritizing, are you truly making progress? Knowledge without application, it's not going to get you the results you desire. It's only when you put that knowledge into practice then you truly move forward. It's easy to get stuck in the habit of passive consumption with endless access to podcasts or books. We can spend hours every single day learning, but if we're not careful, we start to use learning as an escape, actually doing the work. Learning then becomes a comfortable bubble, a place where we're always preparing but never executing. Now let's talk about the consequence of not implementing what you learn. If you've spent the last year reading every book on running a business, listening to business podcasts, watching videos about starting your own business, but a year later you haven't actually taken any steps to launch your business. What happened? Why? Because you become a spectator in your own dreams. When you don't take action, you're left with untapped potential. All that knowledge just sits dormant, and slowly frustration begins to creep in. You start questioning yourself, doubting your ability, wondering why nothing has changed. But the truth is, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want different results, you need to take different actions. Without implementation, you risk living in a perpetual state of almost or someday. You might almost have the tools you need to succeed, or someday you'll be ready to take that leap. Action is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And on the flip side of this, when you take action on what you've learned, you create momentum. Let's go back to that example about time management. Say you read about the importance of your tasks. Absolutely, there's plenty of books out there that will help. The moment you start putting that into practice by breaking down your day, setting aside focus time and eliminating distractions, you begin to experience the benefits. You see your productivity or your stress levels drop, and you start achieving your goals faster. Action is the catalyst for change. When you put what you've learned into practice, you give yourself the chance to see tangible results. You're no longer just thinking about your success, you're moving towards it. And every step, your confidence grows. You begin to see yourself as someone who doesn't think about possibilities, but as someone who takes action to make possibilities a reality. So let's break down the benefits of putting learning into action. The first thing is increased confidence. Every time you take action, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. Confidence from doing, from putting yourself out there. And then you'll go on to deeper learning. Take action solidifies what you've learned. Intentionalize your lessons more deeply when you put them into practice and they become part of you. And that moves on to feedback and growth. You get feedback, you learn from what works, what doesn't, and adapt along the way. This growth process is something that no book or podcast can replicate. And then you get a sense of accomplishment. Action gives you something that passive learning can't give you, which is results. You get the experience of joy of achieving what you set out to do one step at a time. And then you're shifting your mindset from a learner to you adopt a mindset that values action as much as learning. And how do you do that? Start by learning as the first step, not the final destination. When you consume new knowledge, immediately ask yourself, how can I apply this into my business? Whether it's a small adjustment in your routine or a whole new work or a mindset shift, find ways to take action every single day. One thing you can do, I've done, which is every time you finish a book or podcast, write down 3 actionable steps that you can take based on what you've learned. These don't need to be monumental. In fact, far from it, just small, consistent actions are incredibly powerful. Keep those steps somewhere visible and remind yourself daily that it's just not enough to just know, you have to do. And then you're embracing a growth orientated mindset. The goal of self-development is not perfection, it's progress. Embrace the journey of learning and implementing. This cycle is what leads to real lasting change. As you take action, you'll find yourself not just growing, but thriving. You'll see the fruits of your efforts, and that's really fulfilling. So as we wrap up today's episode, then what I want you to do is look at one piece of knowledge that you've acquired recently and ask yourself, how can I put it into practice today? No excuses, no delays, just action. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what you know, it's about what you do with what you've got. The tools, you've got the knowledge, you have the tools, you have the knowledge and the power within you. Now it's time to step up, take action. Let your life and business begin to transform. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, please leave any thoughts or feedback. Have an amazing day. Stay motivated, stay focused, stay positive, and run your own race.